Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Captain America Issue 8, 2023. That's actually a nice looking cover there. And we're also getting, now granted, it's not as close as some of the other ones getting to 800, but we're getting our way on there. Now, this cover, does it really, fit with what goes on in here. Steve doesn't fall, but he does kind of get fucked up. And this one is okay. I like certain Steve things that happen in here. It's just the kind of execution of this kind of supernatural thing that's kind of not completely working for me. It's not completely bad, it's just kind of weird what they're trying to do with it, I think. And I think I just need to kind of get through it more to see what their kind of end game objective and goals are for this. All my life, I've heard people talk about Death Incarnate. It's been in books, TV shows, poems, movies like Death Takes a Holiday and that awful one with Brad Pitt that I can never remember because we forget that which gives us pain. That's kind of like, I'm like, what, Meet Joe Black? I was like, oh, okay. It just seemed like an odd place to like, I'm like, alright. It just needed a little bit of tweaking for better flow for me. I'm like, oh, okay. And that kind of also comes up a little bit later. I'm like, he gets a pain thing, and it's like, alright. But I can't remember anyone ever talking about Life Incarnate. So either Lyra's done a really good job of covering our footsteps, or we haven't been paying attention to the battlefield. The Pale City. In front of us, the army, the arm of that death, the front door. And behind us, the lost and the discarded, the throwaways and the runaways, with nothing more than hope for a better world and maybe, just maybe, the power to back it up. Because sometimes it's the people who have nothing left to lose that have the best chance to change the future. I'm like, yeah, there you go, Steve. Agreed. And between the two sides, just us, same as it's ever been. The creatures, are they alive? No. They are long dead. When they lived here in the Pale City, I knew them as friends, allies, lovers. They would not want the dust and pain that now stands in for their bodies used in this way. They would want to an end to this obscenity as we see her transform into her kind of battle armor, which is nice. I'm like, alright. And the action works out pretty well, at least doing stuff with like Steve and all that. So you need not hold anything back. That's all I needed to know as we see her cracking off and him getting ready with his shield. And then we keep shifting off and we see her utilizing her battle tactics and Steve doing it as well. I may not be as strong as Spider-Man, but I can still slam someone's ribcage at the other side of their back. So I try to pull my punches where I can, but now I don't have to. And we just see him just actually going hand with the shield and the punching. It's like, I do like that kind of bringing up. It's like, he's not as strong as Spider-Man, but he still does have to check his strength, because that's what you do. And as I turn, I realize that in addition to a crystal composition, my shield has just had an upgrade. I can feel it responding to my needs as we see it come and, come back to him, taking out enemies and everything, as he then grabs it. Let's go. It's like, okay, that's interesting. Hopefully we see kind of more of that. There are interesting aspects of it. I'm like, okay, crystal-like shield responds more to Steve's thoughts. Let's see how this works out. When I fight, every move is strategic, born of decades of practice. Yeah, that's my understanding of Steve as we see him fight. When she fights, every move is a poem. And I kind of wish, now granted, it's kind of hard to kind of do that, but I kind of wish that we had seen more in this issue of that kind of difference. Steve tactically taking out certain kind of combatants where she's moving like a poem. Born of what, I wonder? Looks like they're running out of forces. Running out? I'm afraid not, Stephen. Those were just the scouts. Oh. As we see them continue to take on. And the rest of those in the front door fighting as well. I see some of them reach the entrance to the front door, and there's nothing I can do to stop them. You don't belong here. Let's explain it to them. And it's kind of interesting to see them. I kind of wish we'd seen a little bit more of their tactics and their fighting as they're going on. But we focus more on Steve and Lyra. I have no idea how long the fighting goes on. Could be hours, could be days. They start to break through. I feel claws slicing my skin and blood running down my back. I'm too tired to lift the shield. I lift it anyway. I keep going. And I kind of like that, especially on this kind of page where everything's kind of going nuts. Then finally, at last, there was just one. No, wait, I know this one. And I noticed for the first time that she's bleeding light. And it's like, damn. So that's how her injuries go. Aldous, oh my love, see what he has done to you. I give you the only gift I can. As she pretty much dusts him. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. And we hear boom, boom, boom as Lyra's crying. He comes, my brother. I can, no, do nothing. What he is was never meant for human eyes. Look on him through the crystal. And then it's like, let me see here. I made some notes. I kind of like this as in that Cap's shield throughout this whole scenario is kind of like the Perseus myth, utilizing it like Medusa. And it kind of reminds me of like that, Clash of the Titans, and it's kind of like, oh, okay. Oh, and by the way, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, is 10 years old. Time flies. Kind of crazy. Because that was on today, and I'm like, oh shit, that's right. Hey, since we're doing Cap, it's important to bring that up. Really big Cap milestone there. To look upon him directly, even a passing glance can be fatal. Here he is. It is good to see you again, my sister, but you must know you have not stopped what must happen. Those you protect, those you would have him protect, are unworthy of you and of him. You have only succeeded in postponing the inevitable, and he looks fucking gnarly as shit. I do have to give props to the art to doing that and doing it through his shield like that. You are correct, oh my brother, but let me ask you a question. What is the difference between stopping something and an infinity of postponements? You are always so wise, Lyra, and yet always so foolish. And here another champion to look after her children. There have been so many over the long years. Did she tell you what happened to them? Did she tell you how they died? Nope, not interested. Total Steve there. As somebody in one of my favorite movies of all time once said, never tell me the odds. I'm like, I kind of like that. I'm like, nice that that's one of his favorite movies of all time. Star Wars, man. Never tell me the odds. Ah, but there are no odds. For all your strength, you remain mortal, and all that is mortal dies. Would you like me to show you when and where and how you will die? It's like, shit. Would you like me to show you what I see? And then we kind of see that as it's kind of going on. Alright, I'm going up there. Stay here with the rest. When I go down, take the others and run. You won't, don't argue. Your hand is shaking. That's how I know what I know. It hasn't done this since that day. What day? Right now, I'm going to die. Right now, a lifetime ago, she's about to say to me, don't believe him, he's a liar. And right now, in that moment, I'm about to make a mistake. I've carried that mistake with me for the rest of my life, and now it's come back, and now I know. Tell the others to get ready. Tell them to run from this place as fast and as far as they can. Tell them not to look back. Don't believe him, Stephen. And he's kind of gnarly looking. He's a liar. And what does that make you, sister? I've shown him my true face as much as is allowed. Have you? Look at her through the crystal. See what you are not seeing. And it's like, yeah, like, I understand this kind of mistake kind of thing, but the thing is, Steve kind of wants to know what's kind of going on. Stephen, don't. As Steve turns to look at her and sees her in her light and everything. He's like, oh shit, but this gives her brother the opening he needs. Stephen, no, don't look at... Got you, as he sees just a little bit of him, and that fucks up his arm. Ah, Stephen, are you... My arm. I can't move, can't feel my arm. A taste of the death that is yet to come if you continue on this path. Monster, lunatic. Who is the greater monster, I or you, who brought him here knowing what might happen? Abandon this task, Lyra. Join me in creating a new world from the ashes of the old. Even if you are the one who creates that fire, sometimes to create a garden you must tear down that which is built upon the soil. Come with me, Lyra, or sooner or later you will fall. You don't always have to tear down shit. I mean, if you need to move something, alright, but don't be a complete and utter asshole about it. Like this dude. If I fall, he will stand, and if he falls, he will not. Then let what comes be on your head, sister, farewell. As she's pretty much like utilizing, but like just kind of more raging against him. Until the next time, as we see that he disappears. Now granted, that's kind of crazy looking. It's like, holy shit. Is he gone? Yes, for now. I cannot fix the damage here. We must get you out while there's still time. It was just a glimpse, just a piece of him. It's enough. And then of course they go back in and they shift from their battle attire to their regular attire. No. And we see that Lyra, is she? Yes. How long? Just a few minutes. You can still call her back from the darkness. You can breathe life back into her. Yes, but if I bring her back, it will take much from me, and I will have little left to heal you. Nor can we wait for me to rebuild that energy, because it is in a very little while, nothing will heal that wound. Take care of her first. Are you? Yes, I'm sure. That's Steve. Yeah, he fucked up, but he's not going to let that fuck up completely screw over someone else. As she utilizes her light, she kind of touches the one wound and then puts her blood onto the woman's lips. I'll fight you all at once, or one at a time. Let's go. It's okay, Mary. It's over. Did we win? Of course we won. Lyra always wins. Lyra, in my life, I've known love, received love, lost love, given love. But until right now, until this very moment, I didn't know love could do this. Easy, easy. There you are. There you are. It's like interesting. But I kind of want a little bit more of elaboration on that, because we just get him saying that, but we don't explain of what's kind of going on and how it kind of feels more to it. It feels as good as new. Yes. So where's the problem? It will stay healed for the rest of your life, but not until the end of your life. Do you understand? Yes, I understand, as we get back to that kind of future looking. Now granted, I do like the use of paneling there. That's kind of cool there. Can you stay for the next show? No, I should get back. But before I go, I'd like to ask you a question. There are others out there a lot more powerful than I am, and since many of these people are mutants, why not go to the X-Men? Why not Thor or Captain Marvel or somebody else who can bring more firepower to the job of protecting them? Because for those others, their cause can be an empire, a throne, a war. You have only one cause. And I like that Lyra gets Steve here and gets who he is as Captain America. Your cause is life. It is preserving innocent life and the innocence of life from those with power and those with powers who would destroy that life. You have always, and you have always, and you will always put the lives of others first, even before your own. Yeah, exactly. She gets them. Those I have called here are the ones with the potential to change the world when the Nexus comes. But there are still 4 missing, including the most promising of all. I can see them only dimly, but enough to point you in the right direction. You can't bring them in yourself. I must remain close at hand to defend this place when my brother comes again. Bring those 4 here safely, and I'll never ask anything of you again. Until, yes, until the end. I'm like, okay, can we also get a little bit more information on the Nexus Point thing, please? Now, I don't need a full-ass explanation, but just a little bit. They are out there, they are trying to get here without truly understanding what is calling them. And even as we speak, they are being hunted, awaiting help, awaiting hope, awaiting you and your decision. As we see a couple of places, kind of a train place, Paris, looks to be DC, and then Rio de Janeiro, I believe? How is this thing on? You know where to find me. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. Mr. Roger, Steve, I finished your chart. No charge. After what you did tonight? No charge. Not after what you did tonight. I thank you, Teresa. Lyra can tell you, Lyra can tell you, my charts are never wrong, and this one's really good. Mostly. You're a Libra, which means you're ethical, nurturing, intuitive, and loyal to those you care about. You fight for what you believe in. And you always put other people before yourself. And it's kind of interesting to see this other kind of perspective. I mean, it's still reiterating what we mainly know about Cap, which is nice to do from time to time. Librans are deep thinkers who start off thinking everything is black and white, only to figure that out one day that everything is gray. Enjoy the show? Yes. Coming back? Count on it. You wear your conscience on your chest and your heart on your sleeve, and when both of those agree on the same thing, there's not a power in the world that can stop you. There is love coming your way, but not from the direction you expect. Heartbreak also. Pain. Loss. The kind of pain that would shatter anyone else. But you get up. You make yourself get up. Every time you always have, and you always will. Right up until the day you can't, but you'll still try, because obviously. Beware the unexpected lights in the dark. Beware the friend who isn't. Beware the hand that touches. Look to the unlikely, embrace the impossible. It's interesting. Love fiercely and unwisely and without hesitation. Love, while you still can. Ladies and gentlemen, and all stops in between, beings and non-beings, mundanes and mutants, the lost and the hoping to be found, and the hoping to disappear. To all the souls who entered here tonight seeking shelter from the storm, welcome to the front door. There's no pain here, no struggle, no violence, and no death. Because we're under protection, aren't we? You bet we are. Let there be light. As we see the show starting up again, we see Steve riding off into the sunrise. And we get our letters page here with the captain's log, which is kind of cool. It's been a bit since there's been a letters page like that. So, Captain America issue 9. Captain America has a new mission: to assemble a group of new change agents under the front door cabaret's protection before they can be found by those who want them eradicated. But his first recruit is already in danger, and Penguin's only lead seems to be a misplaced penguin. So that's going to be interesting. So overall, this was a pretty decent issue. I was kind of just like, what? It's mainly those weird kind of bits where it seems like certain kind of jokes just needed to be like I was just, I'm reading this thing and I'm like, Steve, he's in the thick of it and everything, and then talks about like Joe Black. Like, it even confused me. I'm like, what? And I don't mind it. It's just when it takes me out of the story a little bit, I'm like, what? And it's mainly down to execution. It doesn't completely and utterly derail it for me because this still gets to the core of who Cap is. Going through, lifting the shield, helping people, and yeah, he fucked up. And even though that's going to be a detriment to him, he decided that she could do something to help bring this person back to life. And yeah, him having kind of a fucked up arm at the end of the day, at the end of his life, he doesn't care, bring that person back. And him being like, okay, but dealing with the kind of eldritch, fucked up monstrosity. I did like the artwork for that, and I did kind of like the callback to like Perseus in Clash of the Titans kind of myth with the utilization, the shield kind of reacting more to him with his mind. We'll have to see if that works outside of the front door cabaret. It's just really kind of weird, Steve dealing with these this kind of supernatural scenario. Now, granted, Lyra explaining that he's always been for life and the protection of life, yes, that's Steve. That works for it. That's core to who Steve is. It's just I have issues with certain kind of execution for certain kind of things. So I'm still interested to see how this kind of goes. Hopefully we get more information at some point about the Nexus, what's kind of going on with that. I mean, our next kind of objective in this is to get the change agents, get them safe, get them prepared for what's coming with that. So hopefully we'll get that information going forward, and mainly after we get the change agents and dealing with them. So we'll see what goes on. I didn't hate this issue. I thought that the art worked out pretty well, even though at certain kind of instances the faces, I'm like, okay. And they're not horrible faces. They just don't, I'm just like, okay, that's kind of not my style. But you know what I mean? It's different than like certain kind of ones where there's not detail. It's like a kind of blob face. Or I got two redheaded characters and I'm like, who the fuck are this? Is this Pepper and Bethany? Which one's which? I've had that happen in an Iron Man comic before. So that's not happening here. Okay? That's not really anything for me to be like, oh, it's horrendous. It's more a little thing more than any kind of like big thing of like, I don't know who the fuck I'm looking at right now. So yeah, we'll see how this kind of goes. I'm still looking forward to this. Cap, still my big main. One of my favorites. So we'll see how this goes and see how this will lead up to certain milestone issues because we're working our way to 800. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.